All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. My name is Polzin with Notified Sports. Going to be getting into the top 5 plays here for this Thursday slate. Okay, it's a small 4-game slate. And with that, it's going to be tough to give like the top 5 core plays. I'll try it, but there's going to be a lot of injury-dependent plays there. Okay, so let's get into it. So core play number 5 for me, I'm pretty sure is going to be Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, this is very much injury news dependent though, okay? So looking at it right now, guys, the Clippers, I'm expecting John Wall to still sit. Zubac left the game. And with it being the back end of a back-to-back, I don't see why they would push it. If he is someone that couldn't finish last night's game, why would he play again tonight? Then you got Norman Powell. Okay. And then tack on the fact that it is the back end of a back-to-back. Kawhi Leonard probably going to sit as well. That means someone like Luke Kennard at his current price point is highly appealing to me. Luke Kennard, with those players off the court, his usage rate is 18% and his DK point total is going to be 24 points. So at this price point, we would certainly take that. And we can see that he has been like a productive player. Like you're not going to get a fat zero or like a really snowflake from him. You shouldn't. So that's kind of why I like him on the site where I am trying to find some value. He makes a lot of sense logically as a value play. But that being said, they're just on the Clippers side, there's a lot of great value. Nick Batum could easily go off and have a great game. His usage rate is terrible, about 9% with those guys off the court, but his fantasy point total is very high, 29 fantasy points per 36 with those guys off the court. So he is certainly someone we can look at, and the minutes have been there as well for him. At his price point, does have a nice floor, like he shouldn't hurt you as well. So he is someone I'm certainly looking at. Robert Covington could be forced into more minutes with Zubac out. Okay, if he gets more minutes, maybe let's say 25, he should easily be able to pay off this price point. That's the issue that I'm having on the slate, is that we could make a case for all these guys. We just need to wait and see on the injury news right now. But as it sits right now, I do feel very comfortable with Luke Kennard. And I will say Paul George should be a strong, kind of safe 45 DK point play. I think you do try to afford to pay up for him. And then just sticking with that game, guys, going with Phoenix. So we need to get news on Devin Booker, okay? And that's a big news point. And we also need to get news on DeAndre Ayton. Okay. Cam Johnson's already out. We know that. So let's just go ahead and look at the Suns with Ayton, Booker, Cam Johnson, and Cam Payne out. Let's look at that. What would that look like? Well, honestly, you'd probably have to be playing Landry Shamet, was productive in the last game at a cheap price point. His usage rate with those far off the court, 14.5 and 28 fantasy points per 36. Okay, Josh Okogie, and I hope I didn't butcher that. He is someone that really does step up with those players off the court. I mean, his per 36 is like 50 fantasy points. Now, that's crazy. That's not going to happen. He's not going to get 36 minutes, but if we can get 20 minutes out of him, that's huge. His usage rate with those players off the court, about 25%, so that's pretty crazy. And then CP3 is also someone you'd be looking at as well. CP3, I just feel like we'd be locking in around 40 fantasy points, which is basically what he averages with those guys off the court, around 38 fantasy points. So not like a flame play, but also not something that's going to hurt you. That's kind of the plays on this slate. Let's just say that Ayton and then the two Camerons sit. Then Devin Booker would almost become a lock, I would say. His usage rate with those three off the court, 34.3%, and his fantasy point total is 57. Okay, so yes, he's been struggling lately, and that's going to be the biggest worry. And I kind of hope that he sits just to make it easier. But if he plays, it's going to be tough for me not to love him as a play, even though his recent production has not been there. So like Booker would be considered a core play. This is where I can't give top 5 core plays. Okay, on tonight's slate, it just doesn't work. Okay, with this 4-game slate, with the injury news that we have right now, it just doesn't work. I'm giving you guys the information for you guys to be able to decide once that injury information comes out. Okay, I will say someone like Jalen Green, I absolutely love in GPPs. 2 straight games of over 40 DK points, 3 out of the last 4 over 40 DK points at a very cheap price point. Yes, the risk is there. Like the downside is certainly there. Okay, the icicle is going to be there, but the fact that he could easily go for 40 DK points at a very cheap price point, that's highly appealing to me on this slate. So I am kind of treating him as a GPP core play, shooting for that upside. Another really strong GPP core play that I like is going to be Bobby Portis. So Drew Holiday is expected to sit in this one. With Drew Holiday off the court, Bobby Portis has a 23% usage rate and a fantasy point total of 41 fantasy points per 36, which is obviously really good. If we can also get 40 DK points out of Bobby Portis at 6.2, we would absolutely take that. And then just touching on the Milwaukee Bucks with Jrue Holiday off the court, Javon Carter, priced up a little bit too much, but he did play a lot of minutes. So with Jrue Holiday off the court, you do expect him to get those minutes. Usage rate just really wasn't there for him. That was the biggest issue. But with Jrue Holiday off the court, his usage rate does go up about 7%, and his DK per 36 total goes up about 8 DK points. So yes, he is certainly someone that I do see as being in play. George Hill, probably not someone that you want to particularly play. I do think we are going to get around 17 DK points out of him. If that's going to be enough for you, sure, like you'd be fine with that. Chris Middleton, playing around 30 minutes right now. Can that be enough? I do think so. Given a small sample size, his usage rate with Jrue off the court is 26%, and his per 36 total is going to be 36. So I think we are just getting around 30 DK points out of him, okay? But just having those minutes kind of capped, that's a big worry. Okay. Then Giannis, obviously, if you can afford to pay for Giannis, do so. Like, I don't really feel the need to say that. He's actually averaging 61 fantasy points per 36 with Jrue off the court. So it wouldn't be shocking to see him really go out and have a dominant night tonight. And then I kind of saved this for last because this is kind of like the one core play I feel really good about. It's going to be Tyler Hero. So Jimmy Butler is expected to sit in this one. So with that, Tyler Hero pretty much, I don't want to say becomes a lock, but he is at a cheap price point going against the Houston Rockets, a team that you have been wanting to target. So to me, that's going to be highly appealing. That's going to be a team that I want to be attacking. So yeah, Tyler Hero at 8K, I'm expecting 40 DK points, and I feel like that's going to be a great starting point. And I should mention, like, this is going to be the same across FanDuel as well. I didn't really see that like great of FanDuel plays as it sat right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put Covington and Batum into these builds, maybe Josh Okogie actually. So maybe, I don't know. We got to wait and see in that news, guys. That's just what it comes down to. Like something like this, not a terrible build to start out the day. Just hate that we don't have enough injury news just yet to really go really in on, to make the lineup process more simple. And part of the problem is that Phoenix game is going to be a late night game, so we probably won't get it at all.